You hear that in there? Everything's gonna be okay.
Since the very first episode of the mysterious TV show known as From, Fatima Hassan has been a pleasure to watch on screen. Pegah Ghafoori does an impeccable job portraying this strong, optimistic, and resourceful character on screen. Now with the third season airing, things have taken a dark turn for everyone in this wretched town, and Fatima is no different. But what challenges does Fatima have to face in this new season? Well, that is what we'll be looking into. Join us as we explore who Fatima was and will be through the course of this show.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Who is Fatima Hassan? The first time we see Fatima on screen, she is posing in front of the window at Colony House, looking exceptionally beautiful in the morning light, with a flower stuck in her hair. She looks like the epitome of perfection, and I can totally understand why Ellis insists on making Fatima his model every single time. From their short interaction with Boyd Stevens, Ellis's estranged father, and the de facto sheriff of this town, we can understand that Fatima is generally a warm person. She understands that Ellis has some ill feelings towards his father, but she does not share them. She is quite jovial seeing Boyd in the Colony House and excuses herself as politely as she can so that the father and son can have a moment to themselves. This is when Boyd tells Ellis about the Pratt family that passed away because of a small mistake, bringing an end to their almost 3-month streak of survival. That very night, Ellis, Kenny, and father Khatri rushed to the Colony House during nightfall with the newcomers they rescued from the infamous car crash. Seeing them outside, Fatima begged the guard to let them in. In a mysterious place like this town where you never know which thing might hurt you, people often lose their compassion and their humanity. Hardship breaks people down, but not Fatima. She is compassionate. This aspect of her character gets driven home to us, the viewers, when we see her reach out to Julie as a friend, giving her warmth and company, something she desperately needs. As per protocol, Julie was tied up in the Colony House kitchen, separated from her mother. She just got out of a car crash and her brother is still stuck there. Obviously, she is not in the best of headspaces. On top of that, these strange people who rescued her from the crash dragged her to this strange house, shot a seemingly normal boy who did not bleed out for no reason, and now they have her tied up. All of these elements are extremely traumatizing for even adults, and she is just 16. As if all of this was not enough, Victor decided to show up and offer Julie peaches while she was helpless and alone. Big stranger danger alert. Like others, Fatima decided to approach Julie on the grounds of familiarity and relatability. She spoke with Julie with comfort and explained everything that was happening around them in the gentlest way possible. We can see Fatima's words calm Julie down, and that is why she decides to untie her and take her to Ellis's room. Fatima is the one who gives Julie hope, saying that if she climbs up high enough, even a nightmare would look like a dream. She refers to the window she was seen posing in front of and the beautiful view outside. Over the course of the next few days, Fatima repeatedly approaches Julie, hoping to give the teen some comfort, but when Julie refuses, Fatima respects her boundaries. This act of hers allows Julie to feel like her own person, something that she did not feel when she was with her family. That is why instead of picking the town like the rest of her family, Julie chose the Colony House. She immediately goes to Fatima, who gives her a side hug and ensures that both Julie and her parents know she will be taken care of. And this is something that Fatima stays true to. The next morning, when Julie breaks down and realizes Trudy, another Colony House member, has gone through her clothes, Fatima comforts her and jokes about the situation, eventually getting Julie to laugh. When Tabitha shows up to give Julie a sweater and ends up getting in a fight, Fatima is in the background. She does not join in on the conversation and tries to chase after Julie when she storms off crying. Instead, Fatima takes the sweater from Tabitha, promising that the sweater will get to Julie. Later that night, Fatima and Ellis surprise Julie with her own bed, ensuring Julie knows that she did not make a mistake like Tabitha claimed she did. At one point, we even see Fatima giving her beloved sweater to Trudy, even though she specifically kept it hidden from the latter just to cheer her up. I do not know if I would have done the same had I been in her shoes, to be honest. She even takes Julie to the Brundles when she sees her feeling grim about not having a partner waiting in the real world for her. Seeing the Brundles, Julie is surprised as this place looks far more normal than she expected. Fatima explains that the Brundles are sort of like an escape that brings normalcy to the people, making them feel like they are somewhere out there instead of being stuck in a nameless town with monsters coming after them every night. Obviously, Julie is surprised to see Fatima Fatima's positivity and asks about it. And this is where we learn her heartbreaking backstory. She was the daughter of an outspoken cleric. She grew up in Iran until she was 11. On her birthday, men came for her father, and in that chaos, her father insisted that she hide. Despite staying hidden, Fatima knew that her father was dragged outside and shot. This event was extremely traumatic for her, but instead of letting this hold her back, Fatima looked at this event as monsters being out there in the world, no matter where they are, but she would never allow them to scare her. The loss of her parent, especially a parent you're very close to, will change the way you look at the world. Perhaps this sudden loss of her parent was what made Fatima an extremely loving person. She's willing to risk death if it means she would be able to protect the ones she cares for. This is exactly what we see on the day of the Colony House attack. That day, there was a party of the Colony House for Fatima. They were celebrating the day Fatima ended up in town, effectively celebrating her survival. However, that night, one of the Colony House members fell for the tricks of one of the creatures and opened the window. The creature came inside, killed the guy, and made way for more creatures to attack the Colony House. When the creatures swarm the Colony House and everyone starts running, Fatima notices that Ellis and Julie are both missing. With no care in the world, she ran back into the Colony House looking for them. She did not find Julie, but she did find Ellis, who jumped off the porch roof to escape. She hurried back inside with him and shut the doors to the foyer, creating a sealed vestibule with a talisman. She had no idea this would work, but Fatima took a dangerous risk just for the sake of saving Ellis. She was the one who urged Ellis to fix his relationship with his father after learning that Boyd would go into the forest, hoping to find a way to bring everyone home. She empathically told Ellis that while she understands that Ellis was angry with his father, Ellis should also consider how Boyd felt about killing his wife just to save Ellis's life. She insisted that Ellis must speak with Boyd before he left, because if he didn't, this might be something that Ellis would regret all his life. Ellis listens to Fatima, and when he comes back, Fatima gives him a hug when he admits he is not okay. Fatima is genuinely wifey material, and I was so happy when Ellis finally decided to propose to her. She deserves happiness and that ring on her finger. Season 1 of From was good to Fatima, I won't lie. But things start taking a sour turn from Season 2.
Inside now! Inside now!
Fatima's journey through Season 2. Season 1 ended with Jim finally reaching someone through his radio, but the person on the other side warned Jim of the hole in his basement, which freaked him out. Jim ran for Tabitha and his house while a storm rolled in. Everyone at the Colony House brought the tower down and took the radio equipment inside, but the bulbs in the Colony House kept exploding, causing chaos. In the middle of all this, Jade was the one who screamed at everyone that there was a bust at the diner. Fatima was trying to take Julie and Ethan upstairs, but the wind blew at Winch through one of the windows, and using that as a distraction, Julie ran out. Later, Fatima joins Donna and Kenny to help the bus passengers. But once they arrived at the town, things were extremely chaotic. Jim, Randall, Tom, and Brick were trying to bring Tabitha out, but the house collapsed on top of them. Only Randall managed to make it out of there, leaving the other three trapped for the night. Donna tried to get all the passengers inside the diner, but no one was listening to her. So she fired her gun as a warning shot. This led to the majority of the passengers entering the diner, but quite a few of them were scattered. Fatima went after them, trying to get the passengers to hide and be quiet, but with the nightfall, Ellis pulled her into the sheriff's office. From there, they witnessed two passengers getting slaughtered by creatures. She keeps trying to help them while Ellis tries to calm her down. One of the creatures comments that Fatima is spoiling all the fun. The scene is brutal as we see Fatima breaking down, hearing the passengers' helpless screams and the taunts from the creatures asking her to step outside. Ellis lost his mother to the town. The town somehow managed to break down Iron Abbey and make her go on a killing spree until now, in Ellis's eyes, Fatima was this optimistic ray of sunshine, but that night he saw her break. The peace that she had in her heart that drove her forward was gone. Understandably, Ellis was worried. The next day, Fatima goes back to her old ways. She approaches Elgin, one of the bus passengers, offering herself as his proxy. She answers Elgin's questions diligently, and when Elgin tells her about his premonitions, Fatima is not surprised. Instead, she recalls what Nadia had told her about this place. While she's able to keep her mask in place for the general public, Ellis soon notices that she's actually not doing so well. Ellis found her sitting in a diner. When he approaches her, she asks her to promise that things will eventually change. The only change that Ellis could could come up with on the spot was a change in their relationship. So Ellis asks Fatima to marry him, as he does not wish the town to be the one to dictate their future. Fatima actually accepts that. However, she's actually not happy about it, as we see in the later episodes. She acts cold towards Ellis, and no matter how hard he tries to get through her, she simply refuses to open up. We see her trying to mitigate the issues Donna was having with Randall, but that does not go anywhere because Donna chases Randall away to live in the bus. Fatima helps out with the limited rations that Colony House can spare, and when Donna leaves for the town, Fatima and Ellis are left in charge. She tells Fatima to inform the Colony House members that they are working on a solution for the food shortage, but things would be fine as long as everyone sticks to their rations. However, later that night, when a fight breaks out between Dale and Elgin, none of Donna's words actually seem to help out the situation. Dale informs everyone in the Colony House while going on his angry tirade that there is a food shortage and that the new people from the bus needs to leave. Fatima tries to calm her down but acts rudely toward her. Seeing this, Ellis joins in on the conversation and in the scuffle that follows, accidentally stabs Ellis on the side. Fatima and Bacta immediately takes Ellis to the couch while figuring out what they can do. Fatima is ready to risk it all and suggests taking the van to the clinic. However, Ellis refuses, claiming it is too late and that they can go in the morning. Despite his insistence, Bacta knew Ellis's condition was severe and wordless, so she conveyed that message to Fatima, realizing the danger he was in. Fatima called Elgin for the help. Thankfully, Elgin managed to come up with a cohesive plan, brought the van to the steps of the Colony House, and puts Ellis in it before driving off to the clinic, dodging the swarming creatures. When Fatima, Ellis, and Elgin arrive at the clinic, Ellis had a hard time breathing. Christy quickly assessed the situation and managed to drain the excess blood, filling up Ellis's chest cavity. While she does these, Fatima, Boyd, and Elgin wait outside a room, panicking. Boyd tries his best to calm Fatima down, but to no avail. Christy comes in bearing bad news. Ellis needs a blood transfusion. As he is O negative, only Boyd can give him blood. But as we all know, Boyd had those blood worms from Martin, so Boyd refuses, and Fatima tries to tell him that if he does not give blood, Ellis will die. Boyd was still hesitant, and since no one else had seen the worms under his skin, everyone believed Boyd was losing his mind. Kenny even pulled a gun on Boyd, asking him to give the worms to him and save Ellis. But that does not happen, as Marielle points out the worms under his skin. Then, as we all know, Boyd goes outside, gives the worms to Smiley Creature, and comes back to give Ellis's blood. Fatima saw everything that went down, and understandably, she was shaken up. She keeps up her facade, but after speaking with Ellis, she steps out of the room and breaks down. Christy finds her crying and tries to comfort her, and that is when Fatima opens out about her fears. She almost lost Ellis, and now Boyd has worms under his skin, but on top of these two, she is worried she might be pregnant. The next day, Christy confirmed that she was indeed pregnant. Fatima is too stunned to speak for a while. Christy asks if Fatima told Ellis about this, but Fatima tells her no. Christy comforts Fatima, saying that since she is here, despite the less than ideal situations in the town, she will be able to guide Fatima during her pregnancy. Fatima is still hesitant to talk about the baby to Ellis, and after getting the confirmation from Christy, the couple goes back to the Colony House. Later in the greenhouse, Fatima tells Donna about her pregnancy. She was told that she could not conceive, but now that she had, Fatima felt like the town was mocking her. However, Donna does not feel the same way about this pregnancy. In her eyes, this is a miraculous thing, and Fatima should take it as one. There have been so many impossible things in the town until now, but for the first time, this one is a good impossible thing that happened. Since that conversation, Fatima seems to be a bit more at ease. When she was at the Colony House guiding everyone on how to stay up, Tilly, one of the bus passengers, complimented her on her leadership skills and told her she would be a good mother. Fatima was understandably shocked, as she had not told anyone except Donna about it. That day, when Boyd comes to speak with Elgin about something the latter remembered about his dreams, Elgin brings up Fatima's pregnancy, shocking Boyd. By this time, it seems like Ellis also knew about the baby. That is why we see Ellis hounding Christy when she is at the Colony House, wondering if they should be worried about the baby dreaming. Luckily, the baby is far too young to dream, so Ellis can rest easy. Season 2 ends with Ellis and Fatima finally tying the knot in an unofficial wedding. Boyd walks Fatima down the aisle, and they both recite their vows to one another, starting their journey together as a family with a baby on the way. Is Fatima turning into a creature or having a creature baby? Season 3 was supposed to be good for Fatima, but the writers have different plans. From the first episode, we've been getting whiplashes about this pregnancy and have been making us go, huh? From the very first trailer for the third season, we all noticed that Fatima's health was deteriorating. Now that we have 3 episodes out, we can definitely confirm Fatima ain't doing so good. So in the first episode, we see Fatima vomiting quite a bit. It seems like she's been retching into the toilet bowl for an hour or so. Nikki, one of the colony house members, is not very happy with that. In her eyes, Fatima is already getting double the ration despite the food shortage. The least she could do was not hog the bathroom for hours on end. However, when Ellis tries to comfort her and get her something to eat, Fatima refuses, claiming that she just needs her stomach to settle down. I mean, morning sickness is a terrible ordeal as a whole, but when it comes to Fatima, it is far more taxing than others. She has severe morning sickness and has not been eating for 3 to 4 days at this point. Anything she eats, she ends up vomiting it out. But despite such a serious condition, Fatima refused to go to the clinic. When she was cleaning up her face after her bout of sickness, Fatima noticed something odd. One of her teeth had come loose, and she was able to pull it out of her mouth with surprising ease. Realizing the gravity of the situation after all, Fatima agrees to pay Christy a visit. As Christy was out of the clinic, Marielle stepped in and diagnosed Fatima with severe morning sickness. She gave Fatima some medicine and sent them back on their way. On reaching the colony house, Fatima told Ellis to go be there for Boyd, who was shaken up with Tian Chen's death. Ellis agrees and leaves. Fatima goes up to the stairs of the colony house and tries to go inside. The doorknob seems to rattle and not open for her. She lingers on the porch for a while and notices the other colony house members dragging all the rotten crops and dumping them together to make a compost for the soil. When all the members leave the porch, we see Fatima chowing down on those rotten veggies like it is a 3 Michelin stars course. Now here's where this pregnancy has us all scratching our heads. Pregnancy is a very, well, for the lack of a better word, complicated thing. The mother's body goes through several changes. The whole losing tooth thing that we saw, well, that can be caused whenever a mother is malnourished. Fatima eating the rotten veggies, that can just be an eating disorder known as pica, which happens to a lot of pregnant women, which leads to them eating questionable food. So could it be just a severely complicated pregnancy? But then again, let's look at it this way. The town, as we know, keeps maintaining a balance. The moment people die, new people shortly arrive to take their place. Boyd killed one of the monsters in the second season, and in that episode, Fatima wondered if she was pregnant. Could it be that because one creature died, the town is using Fatima to replace the missing creature? She did say that it was impossible for her to conceive, so I would not put it past the supernatural forces at play in the town to impregnate her with a demon baby. If we go by the demon baby theory, it makes sense why all the food is rotten. The town is trying to feed the baby, and since it can only stomach rotten food, the town intentionally ruined all the crops overnight. This theory is also backed up by the fact that Fatima could not enter the colony house. We all know that everyone keeps the talismans hanging next to the door day or night. At night, after locking up, they fix the talisman to ensure they do not fall off. So it would not be too far-fetched to assume that the talisman in the colony house is hanging, despite it being daytime outside. So, if Fatima truly has a demon baby in her, maybe that is why she was unable to open the door. Another theory that we have is, what if Fatima is turning into a creature herself? I mean, she did lose her tooth. Could it be that later we will find out her missing tooth to be replaced by the fangs we've seen the creatures brandishing so far? The third episode of season 3 also did not give us many answers. Tilly saw Fatima eating rotten vegetables outside the greenhouse, and she comforts Fatima by sharing her own experience of eating weird food during pregnancy. Fatima opens up to Tilly about her fears, and as an answer to all that, Tilly puts out tarot cards. At first, Fatima is hesitant. I mean, can you blame her? But after a guilt trip from Tilly, Fatima prepares herself to ask the cards about her baby. However, right before she can turn the card and get the answer she desired, a crow breaks through the windows of the colony house, creating a huge chaos, leaving the tarot cards forgotten. So I guess we'll have to wait a few more days before we get some semblance of an answer about her pregnancy. Marvel's verdict. Fatima Hassan is the most optimistic member out of the whole ensemble we've seen in this town. The creatures mentioned in the first episode that they wanted to break Boyd. So I believe this whole monster pregnancy thing is being played for 2 reasons. A, to make up for the smiley creature's death, and B, to put even more psychological pressure on Boyd. This is the only on-screen pregnancy right now that I'm fully invested in. How about you guys? What do you guys think? Is she turning into a monster? Let us know down below, and we'll see you guys next time.
If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.